Come on, Larry, everyone's waiting for you, mate. Hey there, guys. Welcome to Slopes Cast episode 2. We're trying to get into the swing of things a little bit with this Slopes Cast, and I think we're pretty much there. We've already changed the name from Slope to Slopes because everyone likes to call me DJ Slopes. And yeah, if this is your first time listening, you might even be listening over on Spotify because we are now approved for Spotify. So hello, Spotify listeners. What we do here is we chat about all of the latest, 6 or 7 of the latest gaming news things that have happened over the last week or two, and I bring in random people, whether they be Patreon's YouTube members or just random people that I know, and I have several of those particular people right here in this chat right now. So let's go through each one of them before we get into the first news story. We have Andrew Dalton.
Hello, everybody.
That's indeed Andrew Dalton. We have Grizzly Crichton.
Hey guys, long time no see.
Yes, am I saying that right? Grizzly Crichton.
Creedon works.
Creedon.
Yeah,
for option number 3.
I never intended it to have a pronunciation, so I just let people say what they like.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I'll try and change it as many times as I can throughout the entire night.
Yeah.
Proof that we are not the same person. We have Mr. Guru Larry in the chat.
Hello, it's definitely Guru Larry here. Hello.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Hello.
I'm not convinced.
No, it's definitely not. I am not Kieran at all. No.
Oh, he's got about 17 accounts. Spamming the chat. We've got Todd Paul Float G.
Hello.
Excellent. Hello, hello, hello. And we have Retro to Next Gen, aka Lou.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing this evening, or today, or yesterday, or tomorrow? How are we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. So, we're going to get right into topic number 1. And this particular topic has come from Wired. Let's move over to my Switch screen. You guys can all see. So, yes, here we go. Topic number 1. We have a mother and her child are suing Nintendo over the Joy-Con drift. Who here has a Switch and has had issues with the Joy-Con drift?
Yeah, I've definitely had it. Usually they start to give away, I would say, anywhere between 3 to 5 months, depending on how often you play. It's absolutely maddening. So Nintendo not addressing this head on the way that they probably should have at the beginning of this debacle. This is not a surprise at all. So what is this, their third lawsuit over this particular issue?
It is. Yes. This is definitely one of the bigger ones. But yeah, this is the third one, as the Wired article states, that's happened in there. I actually never had Joy-Con drift until my son started getting really into the playing on my Nintendo Switch. And I think he pushes down really hard, you know, when you're younger and you like, when you want to go left, you hold, you hammer the left button and your whole body twists and all that sort of stuff. But I'm now starting to get Joy-Con drift. I've never ever had good connection with my Joy-Cons though to the actual Switch itself. I've always had issues. I have to use the Pro controllers when I'm wireless. They are so bad, the Joy-Cons. Take me back to the Wiimotes any day of the week. I much prefer those, and they're bigger in your hands. They feel nicer as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any issues with them, Larry?
I've literally only used my Joy-Cons once to see if it works. I've always used a Pro controller. I can't get my head around them.
Yeah, you've got quite big hands, haven't you, I suppose?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I like people with big hands.
Big gloves.
Yes.
That's right. Purchased 2 sets of Joy-Cons, both becoming problematic in less than a year. This particular person that's suing Nintendo, and they're suing Nintendo for $5 million worth of damages.
Yeah, that's the hysterical part.
Yeah.
So where was the emotional damage from the Joy-Con? I'd love to see what the actual complaint for $5 million is. I mean, that's just nonsense.
His man killed, didn't he? Because he couldn't control him properly.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Luigi just kept going around in circles and circles. So Nintendo and Sanchez's, that's the people that are actually suing them, the lawyers are declining to comment. But Christine Bartholomew, a law professor at the University of Buffalo School of Law, said that businesses are obligated to disclose information about a product that would change the value of the product. If you're going to buy something that's a certain price, the value of the product would be quite different if you knew it would break in 6 months. If a company has that information and doesn't share it, that would be considered misconduct within the reach of the law. So that's where they're going with this.
Well, one could argue that depending on how much you use the Joy-Con, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to break. So that's the argument that could be made in court. So what you're saying has some validity to it, obviously. But again, it depends on your experience with the Joy-Con. Either you use it a lot, or like you said, you use a Pro controller or something like that. I mean, so that's an argument for the courts.
Yeah, for me, it's always, like I say, it's only ever been a connection issue. That's the biggest issue I've had. Like, you stop moving, it loses connection, not only briefly but enough to annoy you. That's the issues that I've had. But only very recently I've started getting Joy-Con drift. But again, I think it's because my son likes to really hammer down that left and right mouse button. Oh bloody hell! I've just got my first ever donation on Extra Slope. Thank you very much, Exploding Prinny. So Yeah, brilliant. But well, not brilliant, not for Nintendo.
Well,
Paul-
I've got to say I'm pretty lucky. I've had a launch Nintendo Switch. I've used the Joy-Cons a few times. I take it out on the road every now and then, particularly when I go over to China. And then I use the Pro controller when I'm at home. But one thing I've noticed is that it's not just Nintendo having this issue. A lot of the manufacturers, whether it be Microsoft, PlayStation, or any of the other like third-party controller manufacturers, they seem joystick drift just seems to be rife at the moment, and I don't really understand why. Because even back in the N64 days, it wasn't this prevalent.
Yeah,
So
I
it
mean,
leads me to believe
I've
that.
had that with when I got my first Xbox One. I had a brand new controller out of the box, and the left thumb drifted as soon as it came out of the box.
Yeah,
I've never had good. All my Xbox controllers have always played about, except for my newest one. But yeah, it's not good.
yeah.
not at
My,
all.
my Xbox controllers, I've had more like problems with Xbox controllers than any other platform.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame.
This is a lawsuit that they actually might take on the chin. Nintendo dodges so many of them. This one they might actually lose.
Well,
Because with
it
that-
baffles me that they still haven't fixed the issue. Like the Nintendo Switch is out. Is it outselling the other? No, it's doing very well at least, and they haven't fixed this issue that's been around since the beginning.
I
Like, as
believe
soon as the
during-
Switch came out, people were talking about Joy-Con drift.
Oh yeah, it was immediate, and I think since January it's been the best-selling console since the beginning of the year. So yeah, those numbers seem right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. And yeah, Joy-Con drift is bad, and now Nintendo are potentially going to get sued to the tune of $5 million by a 9 or 10-year-old kid and his mummy.
I'm sure that money will be put aside for that child, and the mum wouldn't spend a penny of it on herself.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course not.
One of the things that Slugworth just mentioned in the chat,
Mhm.
Nintendo's, however, repairing them pretty quickly through the warranty program. And one of the things I find quite funny is that they're fighting this quite hard against the class action lawsuit, saying that it hasn't inconvenienced people, but they recognise that it's inconveniencing people by fixing the issue, temporarily at least,
Mhm.
by taking their Joy-Cons away and trying to get them repaired. So I don't know how long they're going to be able to fight this, genuinely.
Yeah.
And that's hence the contradiction. That's what I mean. In court, they could handily lose that argument.
Yeah,
just on that.
definitely.
I mean, Velociraptor makes a good point in the chat here, saying back in the day, if you wrecked your cheater joystick from playing games for 10 hours a day, you replaced it. Is this issue not when they get heavy use?
It's hard to say. I mean, the difference is back in the day you could buy. I mean, memory's a little bit hazy from back then, but I'm pretty sure, like for instance, a Mega Drive controller, even an official one, was like a 15 quid thing. Like Joy-Cons are like 60 quid. They're like bloody expensive, and considering we've jumped from the generation of the Wii and even the Wii U, I suppose, to a degree, because they use the same controller. My Wiimotes to this day still work sublimely, like absolutely perfectly, and the Wii, the Switch ones don't, and they're a hell of a lot more expensive. Like Wii controllers were about £20 each, I believe, 20 maybe 25. Yeah.
Well, they got sued themselves, didn't they? Because they kept people kept throwing them into televisions and smashing them, and they had to bring out that Wildo thing from, didn't they? So.
Absolutely, they
Hey,
did.
but the Wiimotes never broke. The TVs broke.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose this is a bit more expensive than sending everyone out cotton lanyards to put on the bottom of your controllers.
Hey, at least they don't wreck your skin like the N64 pad during the Mario Party days, where they have to give you a glove to play the game.
Yeah, Nintendo need to sort their controllers out big time.
Yep.
We've just been joined in the chat by Neil from the Cave.
Ah, fantastic! Hello, Mr. Retro Man Cave. In the voice chat, in the chat on the actual thing, not in the voice chat.
No, not in the voice chat. In the
Right, there we go.
chat on there.
Hello,
Good. Okay, well there you go. $5 million. I don't think they're going to get it, but at the very least, I think it will hopefully kick Nintendo up the arse a little bit to actually release some Joy-Cons that are actually good. At the very least for the Switch Pro that's rumored for next year.
Yeah.
It's like a 4K Switch, isn't it, or something?
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can watch all those classic games in 4K.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing will run in 4K except for 4K YouTube trailers or something. There you go. So okay, on to subject number 2, Mr. Let's have a look here. Yeah, on to subject number 2. A new Evercade cart, Indie Heroes, has shown up. Who here has an Evercade?
Oh, that's me. Yeah, I'm Larry. Of course, you got it, Larry.
Yes.
I've got my Evercade right behind me, actually, and it genuinely does get used quite a bit. It isn't one of those things that, I use quite a lot. That, when I was reviewing it, I'm still using this, and my son's still using this quite a bit. Interplay is getting used a lot. I'm looking forward to smashing out Tanglewood and Xeno Crisis when they finally get those, and obviously the Dizzy collection, which is coming around the corner, which is pretty awesome. I do like my Evercade. What's everyone's opinions on the Evercade?
I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love what they're doing. They're not just focusing on the big names like Sega and Midway and what have you. They're focusing on a curated selection of smaller developers, like the Pico Interactive, the Mega Cat Studios cartridges are some of the best ones I've played. This Indie Heroes one, none of these games I've heard of. Can't wait to play them. I think if they keep this up, I'll be subscribing to whatever Evercade do in the future. I just love what they're doing.
Sure. Got any opinions on this, Larry? You've got one as well.
Yeah, I haven't played it yet, but I've got
You've
one.
never played on your Evercade?
No, it's in the box.
Okay. And what about anyone else in here? Has anyone else got one, or at least got an opinion on the Evercade?
I have the opinion that Larry can send his to me if he does not wish to play it. I'll take it, Larry, if you don't wish to play it.
I'm good.
No, but looking at the lineup, the lineup looks impressive. So these games look absolutely impressive. Doodle World, the first one I'm seeing here, that's already a Kickstarter, and they put out a demo for it. It's a great 8-bit platformer. Anybody who's hardcore into 8-bit platformers would absolutely love this game. So just going off of that, if that's the quality that they're aiming for at the 8-bit level, this will be a slam dunk.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking through it. This is probably... I love my Evercade, but this particular collection, I'm not blown away by. And I know I'm not supposed to, because this is a £15 cartridge with 14 games on it. Like, what do I really want? I can't really... And it's physical, I can't complain too much. But this does seem incredibly basic, some of these games. I'd say about a third of them, I reckon I would give a good go. So I suppose in that sense, it's good. It's worth it. I'm going to get it, because I'm going to get every single Evercade release now. I've now dedicated myself that much. And the fact that they've put the numbers on the side, they know what they're doing. You're going to buy them all. I mean, I've got the first 10, and I've got the next... where am I? Is that really number 17? I've got the next 4 on order. Very much looking for Dizzy. Very much looking forward to Dizzy.
Oh, so the Atari Lynx one sounds quite interesting.
There's 2 of those, isn't there?
It's nice to play Lynx games in non-iStrano vision. It's quite appealing.
Yeah. And I'm with you as well. The Pico and the what's the other one? The Mega Cat Studio ones are brilliant. Loving those. They need to make more of those. I'm up for make as many of those as you can. I love those like little indie studios. I think that's awesome. So yeah, on this list you've got Ployd, Utchison, Kubo, Super Homebrew War, Flea, which I was hoping was going to be like Flicky, not Flicky. What was the Amstrad game? Roland in the Caves, which is actually a copy of another game called Flea, if I'm not mistaken.
Bugaboo the Flea.
Bugaboo, that's it, Larry. Yes, one of the first videos. It's the first video I ever did actually for my channel. The history on that.
Love those Game Boy aesthetic games.
Yeah, you know what? The more I'm looking at this, the more I'm actually, you know what? I can get down to this. There's a couple that, like for instance, Kubo, that it looks like it was made on one of those like make it yourself.
Yeah.
Engine things.
Game maker things, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's some good stuff in there. Chain Break, actually, I've looked into that one. That generally doesn't look too bad. So yeah, what we're talking here, we're talking like £15 for 14 games. Not really a lot to moan about, is there? I suppose.
It's not bad when you consider the kids are paying 20 quid a pop now for some virtual currency in Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And not only that, but if you look at the guys, if you look at that, the first one in that list was a game called Foxyland. Can you imagine how much support Foxyland developers are getting? This is great. I mean, like, it puts them on the forefront for the first time, and I really appreciate that. I think they're doing good work.
Yeah. So you got Oliver Twins is coming up next. I've already ordered Xenocrisis and Tanglewood as well. I've already got both of those games, but I want Xenocrisis on everything. I love that title.
We got Coffee Crisis, didn't we? Done a review on it. We couldn't get it to work.
We couldn't get it to work. No. It does work on my proper Mega Drive. It just doesn't work on emulation systems. The Jalico Collection 1. Another Pico collection, which is always going to be good, and then Indie Heroes. What's on the Jalico collection?
Mostly sports titles, I think.
You got Brawl Brothers, you got Bases Loaded.
City Connection.
Totally Rad. I want to play that.
Oh, EDF.
EDF, yeah. There's a good
That
one.
looks like a good collection.
It certainly does.
Again, £15. You can't really moan.
Operation Logic One.
I should probably work for this company.
Yeah.
At least get an affiliate link.
Yeah, I need to get on that, definitely. So there we go. 15 games for 14 quid. It's a thumbs up from me. And moving on to topic number 3. So apparently, this one's coming from John B over on my Discord, and he has found out that apparently a new Sega mini console is on the way, and the two they're looking at is either the Dreamcast or the SG-1000. Both of these are a possibility. They're way off into the future, and they're looking at them as a worldwide release. So in my eyes, that's definitely more aiming towards the Dreamcast side of things. Although my Sega hardcore fanboyism is really hoping that, just for the odd factor, that it's going to be an SG-1000 first. Regardless, I'm down for both of these. I love my Mega Drive Mini. I still play my Mega Drive Mini quite a lot. And what about people in the chat? Are we down for Dreamcast, SG-1000, minis?
I think if they really want to capture the nostalgia of the Dreamcast Mini, nobody should buy it until it gets discounted heavily or goes second hand, and every game should be pirated.
Yeah, it needs to load up with the spinning reindeer, doesn't it?
Definitely.
What was the boot disc? Utopia.
Utopia.
I
remember
genuinely
selling that
have, I believe,
DVD.
on my shelf my custom-made case for Utopia with the spinning reindeer. I've always been interested to do a video on the history of Utopia, but there isn't much out there.
Are you hoping for a little mini Seaman, Dan?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would love for there to be Seaman and Samba de Amigo and stuff like that, but then you're going to have a mini Dreamcast with maracas or a mini Dreamcast with the microphone. So I think it's going to have to be standard games, isn't it?
I just want them to localize Sega Gaga.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. That is the game I want more than anything to be localized. Sega Gaga. I would love that game to be localized.
Take another way to play Crazy Taxi.
Yeah, and Crazy Taxi is a guarantee, but I'm scared that if they do it, it won't have the Offspring soundtrack.
They did it for the mobile
It
port.
probably wouldn't.
Nah, probably not. I think the Dreamcast Mini would sell more than the SG-1000 Mini. In all honesty, by a long shot. So I'm surprised they're actually skipping a console in between both. They're missing the Mark III. I think that would be also people would probably take a look at that too. But definitely, Dreamcast Mini would be excellent, depending on the lineup.
You say that, but I can't imagine that very many people owned a TurboGrafx 16, and loads of people are going mad over that mini console. That
definitely had people at least know the name of that, though. I think you have to really be into your gaming history to know what an SG-1000 is outside of Japan.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So we've got a question from YouTube sensation Oliver Harper here, saying, "I would love a Saturn Mini. Would the Dreamcast Mini have third-party titles on it? He'd love to play Power Stone again."
Power Stone would be fantastic. I don't know how they haven't done a Power Stone collection outside of the PSP. How is that not on the Switch and stuff? That is like destined to be on a system like that.
That's Capcom, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
your answer.
That's Capcom, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the obvious titles for something like a Dreamcast on the Dreamcast Mini, like we've already said, Crazy Taxi, but like I said, I'm scared it wouldn't have the music. So you got Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure would definitely be on there, probably 2 as well. Shenmue 1 and 2. When you start getting into things like Shenmue, as like legendary as that game is for that system, it's one of those things like, do I want to play the original Dreamcast version of Shenmue on my Dreamcast Mini, or do I want to play the up-res version for like £10 that I can buy for my PlayStation 4? You know, it's one of those things that you would just have for the sake of having, but would you actually play it? Probably not.
Here's an interesting point again from Velociraptor in the chat, which is the Dreamcast is a funny thing. It was a flop that everybody talks about like it was a success. There's some great stuff on it. I mean, it could potentially a Dreamcast Mini outsell the original Dreamcast.
Possibly.
It's possible.
At
don't
a-
know.
maybe
it
at like
sold
a-
okay, didn't it?
At like an $80 price point, it might.
Well, let's refer to the guru, Larry. How well did the Dreamcast sell?
Outsold the Wii U for several years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Start high
Nintendo
bar.
did a Wii U Mini, everyone would jump on that, even though you can get every single one of those games already on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Complete with Nintendo Land, yeah.
Yes. They wouldn't. I don't even know how that would work. A Wii U Mini. It wouldn't even make any sense. Skies of Arcadia. That'd be a definite one that would go on there. Again, though, you could probably play it, but you can definitely play it better on the GameCube. Although that's a £300-400 disc if you wanted to get that. Soul Calibur. That's a definite for me. That was a game I had from the beginning. Loves that game. I spent so long in that game. That's probably the game I've spent, the fighting game I've spent more time in than any other game.
The only thing that puts me off is there wouldn't be a new version of Rival Schools for it, because apparently that franchise is dead, never to have a new game or a re-release.
You love Rival Schools.
I bloody love Rival Schools.
One of the things that gets me is how much do people think this is going to cost? Because an emulator or an Android device that can run a Dreamcast emulator will cost you at least £150. And we're talking like a GP2X here. So something with a beefy enough chip. But on the flip side, if it can emulate Dreamcast, then presumably if you crack it wide open, it can emulate quite a lot more. So I think there is an argument here that it could sell better than the original Dreamcast based on that alone, because it's an attractive looking shell, officially licensed, and it can do so much more than your PlayStation Mini or SNES Mini.
I mean, if that's true, I mean, I thought like you could run Dreamcast emulators pretty well on Raspberry Pis.
Thereabouts, it's not full speed.
Oh, really? Okay.
But again, Oliver makes a comment here. He's sure you'd see all the key titles such as Virtua Fighter 3, Sega Rally 2, Daytona USA, Jet Set Radio, Sonic Adventures. You're going to see it would be, I imagine, it'd be much like the other minis, etc. We've seen, where you'd get the low-hanging fruit to a lot of the titles of the, hey kids, who remembers that there Sonic the Hedgehog? Well, it's on here. You know, they're always going to pick the greatest hits stuff for the bulk of the library.
For mostly, it's surprising though. When you look back on the Mega Drive Mini, there was a lot of games that like, wow, how isn't Revenge of Shinobi on there? I mean, obviously Sonic 3 had the whole legal thing, but like, how isn't Sonic 3 and Knuckles not on that system? You know, how isn't the original Streets of Rage not on that system? You know, there was a lot of obvious ones. I think you would be surprised what isn't on there. But you know some stinkers are going to get through because they're, for instance, Sonic. So, for instance, Sonic Shuffle would probably make it over something like Soul Calibur, unfortunately. You know, Phantasy Star Online, how is that even possible, even though everyone would desperately want that?
You're definitely getting Virtual Tennis and Soccer.
Oh, yeah, but they're both really good. I'm not a big football gaming fan at all, but Virtual Striker was so good.
You get Space
And
Channel 5 on there.
In the chat right now, maybe 20 titles, because the thing to keep in mind is, I think the Dreamcast was GD-ROM, I think, which I believe held around a gigabyte roughly on the disc.
Less than 700, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So, but either way, you're looking at, I mean, obviously storage has come down in price, so they could do it if they wanted to, but in order to keep things cost effective, they'd probably limit it to maybe 32 gigs of ROM total, which would then limit to maybe like 20 games plus having room for the OS overhead and all that. So
Yeah.
The best
Okay,
thing
let's frame it like this, guys. So let's say this is all going to happen as we're saying now. If everyone could pick on this and in the chat one game you'd like on that system, one game, what would it be? And that's the question.
Soul Calibur.
Crazy Taxi.
Crazy Taxi. That's the one I'm toying with.
It's just so damn much fun.
It is. I me and Larry have spoken about this in the past. I generally don't think I've put any more time into a game than Crazy Taxi. Like, it's essentially there's technically 2 levels, isn't there, on there, but just over and over and over again, hundreds and hundreds of hours I've pumped into Crazy Taxi, which is insane because when you're playing, is there 2 songs on the soundtrack or is there 3? Like, over and over again for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and then there's 1 extra song by Bad Religion in the credits.
But hey, the more the track repeated, that's the better you were doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I actually saw Offspring live, there was people with Crazy Taxi t-shirts on. That made me smile.
What about you, Grizzly? What about you, Larry? What would you pick as your one game if you pick one game to go on it?
Soul Calibur.
Okay, Larry.
Good.
I think they should do something cool, like what they released Tetris finally on the Mega Drive Mini. I reckon they should bring out that plane game they banned.
Oh, Propeller Arena, yeah.
Propeller Arena, yes.
Do something like that.
I think the Dreamcast Mini would have to be the first Mini that had online support, because if I can't play Choo Choo Rocket online,
See,
that probably raise the cost immediately, and that would probably
they'd have to create the back end infrastructure for all that.
So we're talking.
I think people would buy it though. I mean, if they got it to about 100, 120-ish at a push, I don't think people would go more than that. But I think you could possibly get it out for 120.
Well, I reckon if they do online capability, they should have a store where you could buy more games for it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Exactly, yeah.
But then again, is it almost like going back into the Sega hardware world? It becomes a full ecosystem then, doesn't it?
The hardware itself doesn't cost that much anymore. It's not like a traditional console. I mean, Sega could release something equivalent to an Ouya, make it run Dreamcast as its top benchmark, and then everything retro just supports through that. Yeah. They're very capable of doing it. I'm pretty sure if Sega released a console, £200 with expandable game library and online play, I think people would lap it up. I think they would.
I think they would.
Adam Corwood says, House of the Dead, if the gun worked on modern TVs. Go look after this at the Retro Man Cave channel for the Sinden light gun. He's done a video on this. Someone is developing, has developed a light gun that works on modern TVs.
Yeah,
that
looks amazing.
And they're going to use that technology on future 1-Up arcades as well, the gun ones.
Oh, nice.
But 1-Up arcades are dead in the UK. They don't like to give any YouTubers free 1-Up arcades in the UK.
They're wankers over it.
I wouldn't go that far, Larry, but yeah, sure.
I would.
So a lot of talk here, obviously, about the Dreamcast Mini. Is there any interest in this room, except for me, for wanting an SG 1000?
Yeah, I'll probably do it.
Nobody's really heard of it, really.
The thing...
I mean, all it is bloody MSX games, anyway.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's like one of those things. If they did a... like, for instance, if you went up a little bit and went to the Master System Mini... the thing with the Master System Mini, there are some good games on the Master System, like some very, very good games, like NES competitors, in my opinion. But a lot of people know the Master System for... demakes of Mega Drive games, so like a shitty version of Altered Beast and a shitty version of Streets of Rage. Well, actually, to be fair, the Streets of Rage one wasn't too bad, but there's just so many of those types of games. The same with the Game Gear as well. So many games. The Mega Drive was so powerful for Sega that a lot of the games for the Master System and stuff were just crappy versions of games you could play better on the Mega Drive. At least for the most part, they're nearly as good as the arcade on the Mega Drive, with things like Altered Beast and Golden Axe and what have you. But with the SG-1000, if you start looking at games like Congo Bongo, what else is there? Pitfall 2, Sega Ninja, Flicky, they're all not as good as the arcade or the Master System version.
Wonder Boy.
Was that on the SG-1000?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Is it?
I don't think there's enough nostalgia in the West for the SG-1000 to make even the slightest of dents console-wise.
It came out in Australia.
Yes.
I think there is a PAL version, isn't there, as well? It was quite big. Not big, but I think it had a bit more of a presence in France.
Yeah, it would just completely bomb. I mean, for curiosity's sake, I'd love to own one of the minis, but it just probably would not move the needle at all. So Dreamcast would obviously do so much better for them.
Absolutely. I looked up and it was there's 42 games and 29 cards for the SG-1000. My cards, they're called, aren't they? So yes. I think they would have to put every single game on there. And in that sense, it's quite appealing to me. But again,
I do think if they did the mini SG-1000 and it had the cards, though, I think due to the weirdness and cuteness of the cards now, people would just be obsessed with collecting the cards irrespective of the games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they actually did make cartridges for the Mega Drive Mini that were literally just tiny bits of plastic with a sticker on. And I'll hold my hand up. I was looking for them like no one's business, because the only way you can get them is either by paying for this stupidly expensive collector's set for the Mega Drive Mini. It was in the hundreds, crazy amounts of money, which sold out very quickly, or by going to Japan and going into those capsule machines, and they're about $5 each. To the equivalent, and it was like literally I've got one of them because it came with my Mega CD attachment, which again is just plastic. It doesn't do anything, but yeah, they made loads of them, one for every single game on the actual Mega Drive Mini.
That's insane. I didn't know they did that.
But yeah, I wish I got those.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving over to start that again. Moving over to topic number 3 here, the Mario 35th review. What's everyone's opinion on Mario 35? Super Mario Bros. 35. Have you played it, Larry?
No, I haven't. I'm a bit tight on getting a subscription, but I'm disappointed. They bloody DMCA'd that Mario Royale game. It's absolutely brilliant, and they've got this sort of half-assed version of it instead.
I don't know of this. Tell me about the Mario Battle Royale game.
Well, somebody made a Mario Royale game, a fan game, and Nintendo DMCA'd it, and it's brilliant. Basically, it's everybody playing the same level of Mario at the same time, and you can screw people over by kicking a turtle shell and stuff like that into them and killing them like that.
So it plays just like Mario 35 by the sounds of it, then?
No, but everybody's on the same screen as you, not just tiny screens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like Mario meets Fall Guys.
Yeah. Except that you can kill people with like the turtle shells and stuff like that by hitting them, and they bounce off and they'll kill the people if they run in front of them and stuff like that. And also you can kill people who get an invincibility star as well, things like that.
How recently was this?
About a year, 2 years ago.
See, is one of those things. It's very easy just to say, "Oh, fuck Nintendo." And don't get me wrong, I wish I knew about that because I definitely would have played it. But at the same time, looking at it from a business point of view, if you know you're going to be releasing Mario 35. If I was Nintendo, I probably would take them down as well. I don't want to be that guy, but it makes sense, doesn't it?
Well,
from a business point of view.
I do wonder if they got the idea from him and to do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a good chance.
Was another Metroid 2 remake. They tucked that down, didn't they? And then they released it on the...
But do you think they got the idea from him, or they just did it?
I think that was in development, that one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think what happens with a lot of that is, like, if something gets taken down, it's almost like... It's a hint, like, oh, Nintendo DMCA'd this up. Guess we know in a year or two what's going to be coming out from them.
Right,
but then again, somebody done a fully 3D remake of Chrono Trigger, and nothing ever happened to that.
Yeah, it's one of those tough ones. It's like when Sega went against Streets of Rage Remake. At the same time, for people that don't know, Streets of Rage Remake is exactly what it sounds like. Someone made a fan-created version of Streets of Rage, the original trilogy of Streets of Rage games, and then a final version which had like all of them together. It was a fantastic way of playing Streets of Rage, the original Streets of Rage games with like all of the characters from all of the games. It was really impressive. But at the same time, Sega were releasing Streets of Rage for iOS devices, which is obviously, not a very good way to play the games at all. But obviously, if you go searching for it, you're going to find people talking about Streets of Rage remakes. So obviously Sega took that down. Now at the same time, you got the Sonic hacking contest at the end of the year. You know, they got Christian Whitehead in for Sonic to make Sonic Mania. So I think it's very much about picking your battles. And if you do have something in development, I can understand why they take it down. Like you say, it's a really tough one. You're gonna get hate from the fans without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't know. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not. But like I said, if I knew Mario 35 was coming, I probably would have done the same thing. You just got to look at it like that. That's how I see it, anyway. But anyway,
it's sad fact they have to do these DMCA takedowns. They're very protective of their IP for that reason, because you know their properties are getting to that age now where you could be talking about, like, you know, copyrights, trademarks expiring. Disney went through this recently, and I know the law's changed in terms of copyright. So if it's in use,
is that why they did the little live action films then?
yeah, that's right. I mean,
that is something to do with the reason why they did the Wizard of Oz one, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, who was asking for Dumbo, honestly? But they did it because it renewed their trademark and they were able to keep hold of their merchandising rights and what have you. So, well, that's my theory.
And that's
anyway.
how all the shitty X-Men movies came to be from Fox, because if they didn't keep making them, the rights would have reverted.
That's right. Yeah,
the most famous
And
one.
you're also getting the Mario film too. So.
Sorry, as Larry's saying, the most famous one is the unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I've seen that movie, and oh my god, do I regret every minute I spent watching it.
No, it's still better than the Josh Trank one.
I will say it's quite telling that Mickey Mouse really should be in the public domain by now. If it wasn't for Disney and all of the big companies fighting against copyright laws and how they used to work, anybody would be able to make a Mickey Mouse cartoon. So yeah, it's all part of that game essentially.
Yeah. What I will say is, getting back to the original question about this game, as someone who's a bit casual on these things, yeah, but I wish Nintendo would just stop rehashing, remixing, remaking things. I want another. When I was a kid, when Mario 3 came out, when Mario World came out, I want another Mario with costumes and completely.
As in a proper classic 2D game.
Yeah, I want a brand new classic 2D Mario game.
It's tough because when you play Mario Maker 2, like, I don't see the reason for them to ever make one now, because they're so experimental with those courses now that, like, I don't know how even I don't think Nintendo could possibly ever do them better now. That you've got that obsessive hardcore Mario fans out there that are making these absurdly clever levels to the point where they could just completely rip anything that even the Nintendo could make themselves. Like, I think if Nintendo went out and made a new Mario game, it wouldn't be as good as the games that some people make on Mario Maker now.
That's fun with WarioWare as well, wasn't it? In the end,
yeah,
they go, just make your own games."
Yeah, exactly. And they and the best they can do is made like either a remix or a compilation. That's actually how they ended it, didn't they? WarioWare Gold.
Yeah,
it was a compilation of all of them, and they done it with Mario Party. They did a compilation of those games, the best Mario Party games. Yeah, so I don't know what else they can do now with 2D Mario games. I really don't. Maybe that's why you haven't seen a Zelda Maker.
Mario Kart, where you can make your own tracks. That'd be quite good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it would be. Yeah, that would be good.
That was a feature they tried to stick in the DD version of F-Zero, wasn't it? They never really made it to that thing, and I suppose they are technically doing that with that Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, because you can create your own tracks in your living room. I know it's not exactly.
Oh, right, the toy game thing.
I think that's the closest you'll get now.
I don't want to be the Sega fanboy, but Sega did that first. They did an arcade at the top of a Japanese arcade where you could basically, you control little remote control cars with cameras on them, and I think you used like modified Daytona cabinets to actually control them. A little bit more excessive than the Switch and little remote control things. I'd like to get them. Bloody expensive though, very expensive.
If Nintendo,
£99.
if Nintendo was smart, they would team up with someone like Google and almost use the technology in Microsoft Flight Sim to do it, where you could almost have street races based on Google mapping data or something.
That'd be cool.
Gizmondo did that, didn't they, with that sort of GTA game they made? You use Google Maps, and you have to sort of control a gang territory on your certain area, so other people from going near it.
That's cool. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. I mean, like use Google Street View kind of data, so you'd be driving around. You could like, I don't know, you could say as a family, plot the route to Granny's house, and then 4 of you have a Mario Kart race on the roads there or something.
I did get asked
cool.
by a company, going back to the whole Google Maps thing. We've totally gone off topic now. I got asked by this company to wanted to sponsor me to basically look at their mobile game, which was like essentially a Monopoly, but you use Google Maps and you basically own properties in real life, and then obviously when other players go near you, they have to pay you rent and all that sort of stuff, and it works like Monopoly. It wasn't official, but it was like that. The only problem with it was it only really worked in major landmarks, so I had to like literally go to London, and there was like one thing in Kent that I could use. I think it was like Leeds Castle or something where I'm from, so it was like useless for me, and I obviously turned it down. But like that would be a cool idea. I like Monopoly. More people need to do that sort of stuff. I suppose it's like Pokemon Go, isn't it, as well?
Oh,
Yeah.
Pac-Man. Google done Pac-Man, didn't they, using Google Earth once?
They did. I remember that. That was a fun 5 minutes. You make Pac-Man run around your street, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of that.
Like,
Speaking to the game itself, I mean, as Stormkeeper said in the chat, it's pretty much like Tetris 99. Now, since it's like limited, since we know it's going to be pulled, I believe in March, I bet you they're probably going to go to like a $9.99. Get some DLC. It's no longer going to be free, and they're probably going to start to add maybe stuff from Super Mario 2, Super Mario 3, and keep this train rolling with this. So it's free for now, but once we hit March and it's no longer free, or I don't think they're going to completely remove it if it's successful. But
yeah,
I really think that's
very
probably
bizarre.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to completely pull it.
It would be so weird if they completely pulled it.
Yeah, I think this is again just like they did with Tetris 99. They're just going to keep hitting you with another $10 to keep adding to it, and then you'll get into the tournaments and events like Tetris 99. And to keep people engaged. But are you going to be engaged that long to keep playing these levels over and over and over again? It depends on your fandom, really, and your constitution. When it comes to these particular levels. But
you see, I am someone that would buy, and I have done, buy NES Remix physically. If I was able to get hold of this physically or whatever, I will even digitally. I would buy this game. There's not a lot to it. I would like them to add, like with Mario Maker, I would like them to add more different Mario worlds, like the SNES Marios and Mario 3, like you say, even Mario 2.
Or Mario 2, yeah.
Mario 2's, I've got a bit love-hate
like
for
the
it.
Lost
I quite
Levels.
like it.
Yeah,
well, technically, this is Lost Levels, isn't it? It's the same. Oh, yeah, because obviously there would be the different levels, of course, yes. Okay.
Right, yeah, so I really think it'll just be more DLC. I just think they want to see if enough people jump on, play it, and then just go ahead and release it as a $10, and keep it going. It's a smart play.
They've done stuff like this before. I mean, for one of the Zelda anniversaries, they released 4 Swords on the DSi, if I remember rightly. And that was a very limited time window. That's the only way to get that game. But then they pulled it straight away afterwards. Now, I don't think that the demand's going to be as high as Mario 35, but I don't know. They've got a habit of doing this, and it's a real strange play on their part. They try to make gaming into a bit of an event, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They are the most such an incredibly sensible company, and at the same time such a stupid company. Like, see how bad Sega were at you always compare Sega and Nintendo, but look how bad Sega were with what they had as their mini consoles back in the day of the AT games and all that sort of stuff, until Nintendo just come along and done it so right, like brilliantly with the NES Mini and the SNES Mini, that it made the competition wake up and do it properly themselves. But then they did it in limited quantities, and they loads and loads of really weird stuff like this. Everything they do brilliantly, but at the same time, in a really weird way that just infuriates you in a typical Nintendo fashion. It's so odd. It's so odd.
This feels like part of the bigger puzzle. Like you're doing a limited with All Stars. Now you're going to do a limited with this, and you're doing a limited with the Game and Watch. Everything is going to be limited up until March. Then what comes at March? It just feels like they're setting us up for something.
Yeah,
So,
I really hope that's the case.
Well, I'm hoping they're going to suddenly leak Mario Galaxy 2 onto the disc or something. It's going to be a time thing.
Well, it's Zelda's 35th next year, so I reckon that's what we're getting. There's already been like the rumours about Skyward Sword.
We got Skyward Sword for the 25th. So.
And then I reckon they'll do like a Zelda All Stars type thing with Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and maybe Twilight Princess and something like that. But
they did that as a was it like a pre-order purchase or something for the GameCube?
Yep, that's right. Yeah,
I had that. Sold that way too early.
I'll have that.
I got mine with a Mario Kart disc. It was a really weird double disc. But yeah, I had Majora's Mask and the first 2 NES games as well.
There we go. So in review then, what do we think of Mario 35? I mean, it's a free game currently. I say free if it wasn't for Nintendo's. You have to pay for Nintendo's online subscription. But do we like it?
Sorry.
I'd imagine so if I played it.
I like it. I really like it. It's. I think now they've opened it up and they can do so much with this battle royale thing they're doing. I think
Well, they could do that with Zelda, couldn't they? Have Zelda random dungeon rooms.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. I think it would be brilliant. Like it could potentially. It would be my favorite Zelda because that's the main thing I like to play, the dungeons.
Like a roguelike Zelda.
You can already do randomized Zelda games.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, through ROMs. Yeah. As for the question, I think it's uniquely Nintendo for better or worse. I do like the concept. I love Tetris 99, and this looks like another version of it. I just wish they'd commit and actually, release the game and just let people play it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a reason to own Nintendo Switch Online. Just make it an exclusive game for that platform, forever. And I reckon people will still stick to it because it looks fun.
As Velociraptor saying, Battle Royale, everything is turning into a Battle Royale game.
It is, and that's why I like this though, because where everyone is just like any game with a gun, we're going to make it Battle Royale as well. They're doing it with things like Tetris and Mario, which is so weird, but at the same time brilliant because it's so different than what everyone else is doing. So I like it. I just I want more of it now. I want them to do it with Zelda. I want them to do it with F-Zero, Mario Kart. Get all your properties open.
I'd like Twisted Metal Battle Royale.
F-Zero Battle Royale for me, please.
That'd be good.
Oh, I had a blast with Twisted Metal back in them PlayStation days.
Yes. So yes. And there we go. Cool. So go on, Larry.
They've never made a Battle Royale game based on the movie Battle Royale.
No, they haven't.
Good point. That'd be crazy.
Just everything in the world is based on that movie. Just not anything based. They haven't actually made one based on the movie. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a Battle Royale movie, but based on the characters from Grange Hill. That'd be good.
So moving over to our next subject here. Moving over to our next topic, the PlayStation 5. Is changing its button layout in Japan. So for those that don't know, in Japan, the select button is the button on the right-hand side. So that's how obviously Nintendo do their things, isn't it? That's normally the A button on a PlayStation controller. That would be the O or the 0 or whatever you want to call it, where the X would be the cancel. To make it more uniformly global, they're now actually putting it as O is now the cancel and X is the select, like the way we have it in the West. And yeah, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
I never even knew about it until I read the article.
I think it's about time those Japanese formed in line with us Westerners.
Damn them losing. No, what's going to happen in Japan is there'll be a homebrew market, people cracking controllers and swapping the bits around internally.
Yeah, why don't you just have an option to turn it around which way you want? That'd be the best thing.
Yeah, just have button maps and just be done with it.
Because I mean, realistically, most gamers don't look at the control pad for see which is X, circle, or whatever, do they? They just the buttons just let
They
them
don't, but I do notice it when you play a lot of Nintendo, and then you move over to a PlayStation. You got to change and you're playing a new game on a PlayStation. You got to remind yourself that it is the X that's the select and not the O.
Yeah, I mean that's more the problem though, isn't it, Andrew? It's going to be for Japanese gamers. They're used to doing it their way, which is wrong, but we'll let them off for a bit. And nothing annoys me more than going back to say Metal Gear Solid 1 on PS1 and then realizing that X isn't confirmed. But that's just what they're used to, and it's very strange that they would change that after so many years.
Well, like I say, it's to make it a global uniformity. Global uniformity, they're putting it as. To make it easier on developers so they don't have to change it all up. I do have a couple of import games for my PlayStation, and it's weird to move over.
What you got?
Uncharted games for the PlayStation 3, I had those in the past.
Oh, okay.
What else have I had? I had a couple of the old, I can't remember what they're called now, but the Mika games. Like dancing type games for the PlayStation. Yeah. So, there you go. Oh, and I've got what's that? Not Outer Worlds. I've got another game for the PlayStation 4. I can't remember what it is. Really, really popular game as well. Never mind. But yeah, it's a strange one. Culturally, apparently, this is what's written in the article. Culturally, there is a long-standing explanation for this difference. In Japan, the circle, or maru, means okay or correct. However, the X symbol means no good or wrong in Japanese. But X in Western markets is looked at X marks the spot. So that's the that's the select, and that's why it was changed round between different regions, apparently. I mean, they actually have meaning, all of the shapes on the controller. Do you know the meaning, Larry? I'm sure you do.
I do, yes.
Go for it. I know what it is as well, but go on, I want you to go.
Square is map.
Or paper or something like that.
Paper map. Triangles move forward.
So that's like point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, point of view. And circle and X are yes and no.
Yes and no. There you go. So yeah, it's really bizarre. I find it really bizarre when like I say, when you import games from Japan for your PlayStation, because it's been for all 4 generations, and they are around the wrong way. But I can't see it being more than an hour's work to change those around for a developer. You know what I mean? Flip and it's done. But apparently it's going to save them time for the beast that is the PlayStation 5. And,
the most interesting part of the article is when they when you see what people are saying in Japan, they're absolutely hysterical. And again, it'll take all but a couple of minutes if they want to swap things out. But this isn't going to completely like trash the PS5 in Japan. But yeah,
well, you
I
never
can see
know.
why people are unhappy with it. I mean, they sold out in 10 minutes on Amazon in Japan.
In Japan, people can be sensitive about these kind of
That's
things.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're just as virulent as we are in the West. That they will troll, they will fight companies when they disagree. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Microsoft has had such a hard time.
I mean, we could find that, hopefully not, this could turn a lot of the Japanese audience off the PlayStation 5 because it's being disrespected in their home country.
Microsoft are happy. Finally, we got an egg in. Some of these comments. What a pain in the arse. One less reason to buy the PlayStation 5. This really confuses Japanese people. Yep, trash. I'm totally going to screw this up. And then you got more positive. I'll get used to this in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's it. Like, normally, when you get it run the wrong way, you push the wrong button once or twice at a push when you first load up the game. Like, and normally at the title menu, and that's it. And you're, okay, that's that sorted.
Well, I always thought the X button's easy to get to with your thumb, isn't it? You don't have to stretch it as far.
Us lazy Westerners.
I don't know. I mean, I think
with our fat fingers, fat thumbs.
Well, it's closer to the D-pad as well. The X button than the circle one.
More disdain on Japan from fucking Sony. Someone wrote.
I wonder how they feel about having to use the shoulder buttons to confirm games on the Switch. That must have been horrible for them.
It's all right, Dave. Velociraptor makes a good point, and we're going to make. I'll take you up on this, mate. We're going to be millionaires. We're going to ship Tipex to Japan and get the controllers with Tipex.
Mickey Dolenz' mum invented Tipex, didn't she?
No, it was Mike.
Oh, him.
It was Mike Nesmith. Yeah.
The thing is, right, though, this change will only really affect things like visual novels and menus, right? Because it's just yes and no.
Yeah.
So
That's probably why Japan is so upset. They love their visual novels.
The only like in game, say if you're playing Devil May Cry X's jump, it doesn't change from region to region. It doesn't suddenly become circles. So I really don't understand why this can't be done on some sort of system level with just a bit of software. And I'd be very surprised if that didn't get changed within the next few months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no reason why controller mappings. It's present in lots of operating systems. There's no reason why controller mappings can't be decided at the operating system level by Sony, and then then the developers just plug into whatever the operating system says.
Yeah.
Well, one person says he's not buying PlayStation anymore. This is hard to get my head around. Why not just move the buttons? That is the worst solution to this. changing the location of the buttons.
All we need is an option in the menus which way round you want it.
Yep. Then they should make that a global thing. And then job done. Job done.
I don't know. In my case,
Sony traitors.
You know, like if I fire up my PS4, my Xbox, or whatever, you know, it's like mentally, I just automatically adapt to what's accept, what's cancel. I've never had to, even changing up between the A, B, and the X, Y, where Nintendo and, Microsoft tend to be reversed every now and again. It just, in my mind, my fingers just find the right button. I never have to think about it.
Oh, is it like that, is it?
I'm just reading more of these comments. This is discrimination. This is a bullshit console. The PS5 is made by a foreign company? Question mark. It's just, this is so good. I've been waiting for this. Stop fucking around. It's just things, and then right at the end, things will be okay.
Will be okay.
Well, PlayStation 4 was an American-developed console. Wasn't Japanese. Mark Cerny made it, didn't he? Worked on it.
He did. Yes, what a legend he
Mr.
was.
Cerny.
Back from it worked on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, arguably one of the greatest games ever made, and also some of the most popular consoles of all time, PlayStation 2 upwards. Did he work on PlayStation 1 as well?
He worked Crash Bandicoot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Pyro maybe as well.
a very, very impressive man. Very impressive man.
Well, apart from then he made Knack.
Well, I've never played Knack. Knack's always interested me, and it's on my to-do list one day to play Knack finally.
Knack is the stereotypical launch game that you only buy because there's fuck all else to play.
Right.
But,
have you got one of those ready for the PlayStation 5?
I don't know. I haven't looked at the launch titles really. I mean, I've only seen about Spider-Man.
Bugsnax.
That's pretty much the only game I want to get.
It's all about Bugsnax.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
doesn't appeal
my
to me.
that is a day one for me. I almost hate it already, but I can't look away.
There we go. Okay, on to another topic here.
Ooh.
The Atari VCS is finally being shipped out.
The Atari VCS come out in 2020.
What a mess of a console.
I understood
What a
that.
mess.
I personally developed the Atari.
So the Atari, this is actually from Atari VCS themselves. They put up an article on Medium explaining what's going on. So the Atari team has been putting the finishing touches on the long-awaited first batch of Atari VCS video computer systems and sending them to the United States, where they will be sorted and shipped to eager Indiegogo backers very soon. The shipment... Go on.
But when you bet somebody opens them, it's going to have one of those knockoff Raspberry Pis inside. That's what it's
Ain't far off that, is it? Let's be honest. This shipment includes the one-time only Indiegogo exclusive Atari VCS 800 Collector's Edition model, inspired by and designed as a homage to the original Atari 2600. There will only be 6,000 numbered and authenticated versions of this model. Presented here for the first time are assembly line photos of the actual Atari VCS 800's Collector's Edition units, the other scenes from the factory earlier this month, including pallets of Atari VCS units prepped and ready to ship to the US for distribution. We hope you enjoy the photos, the Atari VCS team. And there'll be links down below if you're watching this on or listening to this on Spotify or other podcast services. Otherwise, it'll be down in the description for you to check this out yourself. But yes, there is genuine pictures here showing it in development.
Can you scroll down to one of the pictures, Dan? I've been looking through them, and it shows the level of quality control. That one. Look at the state of her gloves.
Yeah.
Go up. Up a bit more.
Oh, here.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, you to catch
Up
up.
a little bit more.
Up a bit more.
Yeah.
Up one more. No, not that one.
Wrong
Oh,
one.
this one.
Yeah, the one to the left.
Look at the state
There
of
it
the
is.
fucking
Look at
gloves for quality control.
Fingerless gloves.
They are
Things are going to go off without a hitch,
shit.
guys. You know that.
Yeah.
You know what gets me about this?
The exclusive one of covered in coronavirus. For all our...
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is that no one's wearing an electromagnetic strap, which is very common in Chinese factories that deal with circuit boards.
Yeah.
It's to stop of course, static electricity from going in.
Ground you.
Velociraptor says,
they might have one around the ankle.
gloves. It's like a Victorian workhouse in there making these things.
You have
They might
absolutely
have-
no
they might
idea
have
how
ankle-
true that is.
Yeah. If you look at one of the pictures, it looks like they connected jumper cables to the bloody things to get them going.
Let's get it started up.
It's like they're making them in a meat
You need a
house.
PlayStation 5 to
Working
boot
plans.
start it. Kickstart
If you go up a bit more, Dan, there's a picture of ones, and they literally got these big cables all. I know, I'm sure. There, look, there's red.
Oh, I see what they're doing there. Yeah, they're powering it up before they wire everything together to make sure the motherboards
That's
are
the
okay.
oh hell screen. This thing's about to blow up. That's what that is.
Yeah.
So here's something quite interesting. It blows my mind. There's still so little around the Atari VCS. I mean, maybe someone can tell me if there's actually some exclusive games coming out for this thing. I mean, I know I always run to the exclusive games, and technically even the Xbox Series X doesn't have exclusive games on launch. But this Atari VCS is obviously heavily underpowered against the even current gen systems, let alone what's coming out. But this has taken so long to come out that it's now coming out just after the Xbox Series S. Now the reason why I've chosen that particular console is you can pick up an Xbox Series S for $300, which is let me think about this. I think it's £40 or £50 more than buying an Atari VCS, but the Atari VCS doesn't even come with a controller. You've got to buy that separately. So if you wanted an Atari VCS with a controller, you're actually spending more on an Atari VCS than the next generation, the lower end of the next generation of systems.
That's
Baffles
obnoxious.
me.
I've got to be honest. I'm going to use one word, I think, to describe this whole fucking project. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just trying to be its own thing in a place where it doesn't need to exist.
Yeah. The
Well, at least-
Ouya, at least on its launch though, on the lead up to its launch, when it finally came out and it was delays and stuff, it was bad. But in the lead up, it had promise. This, I don't know what it's got going for it. I know it's got Antstream on it, and I like Antstream, but you can get Antstream on a Fire TV stick.
Yeah.
I think
and
at least what Tommy Tallarico's doing with the Amico, at least that's got loads of original games with it.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Amico.
Yeah.
I've got one of them on order.
And me.
Have you got an Atari on order, Larry?
No. No,
I'm surprised. You normally buy everything.
No, I didn't trust this bloke. This bloke done an Atari watch once and just scammed everybody.
Oh,
You
I
did.
remember that. Yeah.
I also done this sort of PC on a USB stick or something, and that never came out.
Wasn't that Minecraft thing?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the game band, it had a copy of Minecraft, so you plug it into any PC and it goes. But they were so overstocked, it was overpriced as well, and then it just got heavily discounted. I remember when Game was selling them for about a tenner each when they originally came out for over 100. They're just very good at flopping, this guy.
Very, very good. I want one. if it was about 100, I'd take the gamble. I don't care if it fails, but it's so expensive for at the moment. I don't see what it has to offer. Apparently, the actual Atari stick, like the old 2600 type stick, is a very good Atari type stick. But that's all I know that it's got going for it. In all honesty,
this thing has 3 different models. So you have the all-in-one, which is $399.99. You have the 400, which is $249.99. It doesn't come with certain, and then you have the 800, which comes in at $279.99. So you're getting 100 Atari Vault games with it, like you said, the Antstream service. And you're getting some arcade games on launch, 2,600 games, 5,200 games. It runs a Linux system. I mean, really, for $399.99, $249, $279, you're going to dump that kind of money? Look, I love Atari. It was my first system. This is a load of crap. Everything about this has been, from the jump, just terrible. They pushed it back numerous times. I mean, I hate to pounce on something before I even, put my hands on it to play it. But this thing has been red flagged from the jump. I mean, just stay away. I mean, I understand. I'm an Atari enthusiast myself, but nah, man. Yeah, there's no way on God's green earth I'm touching this thing. No way.
Look, those specifications of this.
Well, even if you saw it on eBay for like $50, you wouldn't get
then
it.
I would. I'd drop 50 quid just to see what it's like. That's what I did with the Ouya. I didn't buy that until it was 50 quid on eBay.
Yeah, you had the game stick as well. I've done that.
Yeah, I got one of them too.
But this thing is based on a couple generation old, like cheap laptop parts. It's based on AMD's Raven Ridge 2, which is old CPU.
Oh, it's not even Tegra then. I want to be Tegra.
Raven Ridge 2.
Oh.
Really, it's the stuff that came sort of basically the early second gen Ryzens. It's literally they've gone to some manufacturer.
So what year are we talking about there?
Probably
2018, right?
2017.
2018. June 30th.
It's the talking about the technology. That's probably 2017, 2018 that this stuff has come out. But I think this is the stuff you get in where you pay.
It was new when the campaign was.
Maybe, but if you're paying $400 for the Tribute Edition, I would say you're buying the equivalent of a really cheap $400 laptop.
So I honestly don't really know much about the innards of PCs and what things are worth and all that sort of stuff. That's why you're normally my go-to guy for that sort of thing, Andrew.
Yeah.
So Mr. T-Bone in the chat actually says, while I think it's overpriced, how is an AMD-powered VCS overpriced at $250, while the ARM-based Amico now not overpriced at $250, and most of the Amico games are literally mobile games?
Okay, so that's a really good point, Mr. T-Bone. And what I would say is ARM has come on leaps and bounds now, and ARM's by a desktop alternative, and the line between mobile game console games is certainly blurred, but the AMD based stuff they're using appears to almost bargain basement stuff no one wants anymore, and that's the big difference.
There's also another side to the Amico, the pricing structure. While yes, the technology is one side of it, the other side is going to be on the infrastructure and how it's built. Every Amico game is going to be exclusive to that console, and it's curated to be like a family selection, and that takes a lot more than putting ROMs on a USB or SD card, which is essentially what the VCS is.
And you also get 2 controllers with the Amico as well, don't you? And they've got television screens in them built in.
Yeah,
little mini LED things.
And the Amico, I'm just comparing the specs on here, and also if you look at it, the Amico has RFID. It has wireless contact charging. This is all stuff that the VCS
doesn't.
Well, it doesn't come with a controller.
No, but it's not got wireless charging. That's
what I'm saying. That the Amico comes with 2 controllers, but the Atari VCS at $250 doesn't even come with one. You have to buy the controller separately. So if you want a classic controller and the old school Atari 26 stick looking thing, they're $60 each. So you're spending, what's that, $310, £370 dollars. Sorry, for the it's madness. Or as this article does show, you could just buy the Atari flashback collections, which I've always found weird because apparently they work better on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and that's something they promote on the back of the box. I don't know how the Atari 2600 flashback collections work better on a PS4 Pro compared to a PS4, but apparently it's a feature they like to sell on the back of the box. Next time you see one in a game store or whatever, look on the back, enhanced by PlayStation 4 Pro.
Apparently you need 4K 60 to play games from 1977.
Yeah.
You haven't lived until you played golf in 4K from the 2600.
Ninja Golf, that's what I want to play in 4K.
7800.
I got the FK collection for £15, and that's pretty much all of the Atari I need.
Yeah, I've actually got a little Blaze handheld down there. It doesn't get much love, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, probably why I'm not going to spend 350, 360, whatever it is, on the Atari VCS.
My Atari stuff is buried because I honestly don't even... I mean, I collect some for 26, 52, and 78, but I really don't like them. So, I mean, everything works, but they're just off in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's amazing when you look at the Indiegogo for this thing. It has 11,597 backers, and it totaled $3,058,123 in total. It originally ended June 30th, 2018, and at that point, it was at $2,955,000. I mean, they got a lot of people they need to satisfy, and they better do it quick because this thing has been a debacle from the jump. I mean, it's amazing the numbers when you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just amazed it actually come through. I didn't think he'd pull through it, or he'd do some bullshit in the game and give you something else.
I'm very excited to see the videos on this. This is one of those, when this comes out and everyone jumps on the bandwagon of trying to talk about the Atari VCS, I'm actually, for this one particular time, I'm up for seeing as many Atari VCS videos as I can. I'm so interested in this. This is going to be really exciting.
This is going to be fun.
I have one question to ask Larry. Are you going to check whether this one can cut cheese or not?
Possibly.
I remember that.
I bet you they go for silly money or those when they finally come out, because so few people are going to have them. Just like the Vega Plus, they're going to go on eBay for silly money when they first go out, even though everyone knows they're bad.
Oh yeah. Keep an eye on scalpers and see what they get away with. This ought to be fun.
Absolutely. Right, moving on to our final topic. This one again comes from John B over on my Discord. Big shout out to him. Thank you very much. At Games are coming back. At Games, the people that made some of the worst, I suppose, mini consoles before mini consoles were a thing, primarily for Sega. They're teaming up with Taito. I'm not saying it right. Taito to create
Taito, the Irish crisp manufacturer,
to create original virtual pinball tables based on legendary classic arcade video game properties. Now, my pinball knowledge isn't right up there. I know a bit about that, but I'm pretty sure that there are no Taito-based pinball arcade machines. Not a significant number of them, at least.
No.
This is very bizarre. Like, why have they not gone and got the properties to actually make proper pinball machines, virtual pinball machines? You know, like the Addams Family or whatever. I mean, maybe not that particular one, but at least, you know, go and...
Well,
it's bizarre.
Here's a question. Aren't AT Games or At Games, aren't they Brazilian?
No, you're thinking of Tech Toy.
Yeah, you're thinking of Tech Toy.
Tech Toy, am I? Okay, I was going to say, because there is a Brazilian division of Taito in Brazil, just reading here, and they did some pinball machines.
Well, Taito's owned by Square Enix now.
Ah, okay. Well, regardless, this is quite a crazy move. It's interesting because obviously everyone's trying to jump onto, you know, you got quarter arcades, you've got the arcade 1-up, and there's loads of other people doing these SNK machines and all that sort of stuff. But no big company have jumped on the virtual pinball machine, not to my knowledge at least. There are plenty of people that are doing them, but no one that are getting hold of properties and making proper mass-produced, I'm assuming, virtual pinball machines. Now, I want to get myself a virtual pinball machine, actually. Depending on what these like, I don't really care how badly they emulate, as long as I can just use them as the base to put my own stuff in there. This actually may be of interest to me, but At Games are not good.
I'd like to see one with that sort of faked 3D effect like the 3DS has got. That would quite good.
I mean, I've actually played a virtual pinball machine, as in one that was basically a flat screen panel. And I don't like them. Are we honest?
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
Don't
I don't like them because there's an analog aspect of classic pinball machines about where you can feel the ball hitting things inside.
Tactile
Yeah,
feedback.
it's tactile feedback when you're playing the games, and the and the flippers, you feel them click, etc. I'm sure they'll sell for some, but it's missing what makes pinball for me.
You could technically emulate all of that though with haptics.
Yeah,
I'm surprised nobody's really tried.
I think there are people out there that have done it. There's
Yeah,
even people,
yeah, they've done it. Yeah.
I've seen some virtual pinball machines where you can actually put Connect sensors in the front, so when you move left and right, the machine moves with it, so it gives a bit of a 3D effect. There's some insanely impressive stuff out there with virtual pinball machines. I think I would like to get one, but I'm talking like a proper size one, and I'm guessing these guys are going to go down more of the quarter arcade route, where they're going to be mini tabletop based virtual pinball machines.
Larry will remember this. Do you remember that awful Tony pinball toy?
Yes. Well, they had two, didn't they? They had a cheap one and an expensive one. They had...
And it was crap. Pinball doesn't scale down.
Yeah, I mean, at games very much are based in the consumer items built for a cost. But I will say, in their defense, and I don't normally do this because I absolutely hate at games for what they did to that Mega Drive and the flashback systems. But they did an arcade machine in the States called the Legends Arcade Cab. It's had a range of different control methods. It had like an AntStream type streaming service where you can stream games. And from what I've seen, it's pretty solid.
Right.
Yeah, Nostalgia reviews him quite a bit. He talks about it on his channel. If you know him.
Games, a leader in interactive entertainment products, today announced that classic Taito arcade properties will be featured in new virtual pinball tables for the At Games Legends arcade family of products. So as you said there, the Legends arcade family there of products running on the Legends arcade platform. The Taito arcade properties that will be developed into exciting new original virtual pinball tables exclusively for play on Legends arcade platforms products like the Legends Ultimate, Legends Gamer, and Legends Pinball include Arkanoid, Bubble Bobble, Elevator Action. Elevator Action Pinball does sound fucking awesome. I want to play that. Chack and Pop, Darius, Frontline, Operation Wolf, Rainbow Islands, I'm up for that. Rastan Saga, Space Invaders, The Legend of Cage, and Zookeeper.
Car game.
Operation Wolf.
Space Invaders has already been a pinball game. That much I know.
No Puzzle Bobble pinball game. That'd be quite obvious.
The thing about virtual pinball machines is there is a lag situation with them that you just can't get around it no matter what you do. That's the biggest thing with these. However, I want one, not from this particular company. However, At Games is I don't have any interest at all. But I mean, I hate to sound so sour about it, but I just don't trust the company itself. But the lag on virtual machines is quite noticeable.
Are they the company who's doing those handheld Pac-Man machines, and they had the actual arcade games on it when they gave them out to reviews to YouTubers?
I believe it's them, yes.
Yeah, that's right. They did a Walmart exclusive with the arcade games, and the rest were the NES versions.
Yeah, but they gave all the YouTubers ones to review that had the arcade games, and so they're all misleading.
It's hardcore scammy business moves, whether it was done intentionally or not. Like, it's so badly done. It was.
I mean,
if people review them and they're good, then I don't know, maybe. But
that's
what
a risk.
Would you expect something like this to be?
At least 200.
Well, it's going to be quite a big screen for something like that, isn't it? So it's going to be, I reckon it's going to be like 4 or 5. I mean, that new Neo Geo machine coming out, that's $500.
Is it really? It's tough, isn't it? Because I think I keep going back to the quarter arcades, but the quarter arcades are about 120 quid for the ones that are actually got games in them, not obviously Polybius. But yeah, they're about 120 pounds, and the screen on them are, obviously small because it's the size of it, a quarter of the size of the arcade. Where if they did, like, for instance, like, I'm guessing that it would essentially be the same thing, so like a quarter size pinball machine would still need a pretty big screen
sort of thing or something. Yeah. But I mean, what I'm taking from this article is they are looking at creating their own original pinball tables based on things,
Right.
which I worry, based on this company, could just be effectively reskin. They could create one pinball table and just reskin it and not have a great deal of difference in them. What I'd be liking to see is some actual classic pinball tables recreated.
That's it for me. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to see, especially some of the movie ones, if they could get the licenses for them. Addams Family, or there's just so many of the Batman classic table from the movies, the Rocky game.
Terminator 2. Some of the music ones like the AC/DCs and your Kiss and all that sort of stuff as well is always good fun.
Addams Family is the biggest selling pinball machine of all time.
Yeah, well, it was essentially the Daytona of pinball machines, wasn't it? It was the one that came out at the right time where the industry was almost dying off a little bit, and it was so popular that it became like I think it was like pinball machine of the year for virtually a decade. Same, you couldn't go to an arcade without seeing Daytona there somewhere.
So I mean, really, what we're talking about here is AtGames being a developer rather than taking someone else's work and porting it.
Yep, absolutely.
The timing of this is interesting because I believe at 1UP announced earlier this year that they're dropping their own tables, pinball tables.
And I believe really? I didn't know that.
I believe so, and I think they're starting around the 350 range, if I'm not mistaken. I know that another company, I thought it was 1UP, they are releasing these tables, but they're going to be themed. You're going to have a Star Wars table, then you're going to have a collection, a Williams table, which will have like 5 or 6 different tables on it. So they're going to do it like a Williams, Star Wars. They'll have like a Marvel table, stuff like they have been doing before. They're going to just do it by manufacturer.
Sure.
So that's already been out there in the public. I believe it was at CES is when that was announced. Way back, before everything started to jump off. But I believe I think it was starting in the $350 range. So they already have competition. There are already people who have the rights to the Williams tables and the Bally's tables. And I think that's why AtGames partners with somebody like Taito, in order to get their own machines out there.
Well, that's the thing.
More interesting to me.
I'm just reading an article now, and it looks like AtGames and Farsight Studios, who are the guys who recreate the Gottlieb Williams Bally tables, they've partnered together. So it looks to me that either they're going to be licensing those as well, or they're using those guys to make these Taito pinball tables. So you might actually be seeing something quite decent here. And it looks like it's going to be a full-size table. That'd be their Arcade Heroes like cabinet type thing, and then there's going to be something what they're calling the mini, which I'm guessing is like a handheld or your quarter scale one, which you suggested. So they fit both price points with the same like design and hardware, I guess. Just different size screens.
There we go. Interesting. Like I say, it's definitely going to be something, and I don't think I've got too much to worry about, but I'm pretty sure YouTubers will jump on this and review it, which is then when I will make my decision afterwards. But
we're not going to get one over here. We get to eat shit with 1UP, ain't we? So.
Yeah, well, this is AtGames, isn't it? I don't think AtGames really like going to any YouTubers, do they? They're hated online. But then that name will bring in the views, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of people out there that will do just that. There we go.
See, it's going to be a 32-inch screen. There you go. Be a big one.
That's gonna, that price ought to go way up with a screen that large.
Yeah.
So,
in that case, if it works, I would generally buy one to then mod it and put my own stuff on there. I think you can get so much on there with the virtual pinball side of things.
The price is going to rocket. I mean, if it's a 32-inch screen, then they're going to have to be looking at a decent quality panel, which will price up. If you use a cheap, forgive me for the Americans, if you use it like a cheap Tesco panel, cheap Tesco Polaroid TV, or something, it's going to smooth the image like hell with something fast moving like a ball on it.
Yeah.
You're looking at $600
for something like that.
There we go. So, I think we've run out of topics to talk about, which means we're at the end. Awesome.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. There we go. So yeah, this is all going to be edited up, guys. If you are watching live, thank you for watching live. But yes, this will be edited up into a nice, beautiful file with all of the ums and ahs taken out, all that sort of stuff, and put up onto Spotify, which is where we are at now. So if you have Spotify, go search for Slopes Cast. That's SLOPES Cast, one word. Couldn't decide if it should be Slope or Slopes Cast. Everyone said Slopes, so that's what I went with. I think I've just got to accept it now that my name is DJ Slopes and not DJ Slope anymore.
It's more than one of you.
Yeah,
It's me, isn't it?
It's Slopey
me. I'm the other Slope.
That's it.
Whatever your name is, just fix that damn game so it stops crashing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. The amount of people that think I created the game. There's a game on Android Store, whatever.
That ball rolling game, isn't it?
Yeah, I generally have people message me like, well, it's your name. When are you going to fix it? I'm like, it ain't my game. Well, why did they put your name on it? I'm like, because you roll down a slope. What can I say? Like, fucking hell. But there we go. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching or for listening to Slopes Cast episode 2. A big shout out to all of the awesome people I have in this chat room right here, including Andrew Dalton.
Hello. Well, goodbye.
Massive shout out goes out to Grizzly.
Hey.
Guru Larry.
Hello. Bye, I mean.
Yeah. Paul Float G.
Yeah, sure.
And Retro to Next Gen, aka Lou.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Excellent. And we'll end it there. Thank you very, very much for coming on, guys.
Thanks,
Right.
Thanks,
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone that's still watching. About 40 odd people. That ain't bad for the second channel, is it? That's pretty good. So, much love, everyone. Thanks for coming by. And yeah, we're going to try and do this every couple of weeks. And yeah, maybe if everyone likes it, maybe we'll do it weekly. We will see.
Oh.
Yeah, we will see. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Your live streams, though.
Sorry?
Is this not going to get in the way of your live streams on your main channel?
It goes on after my live streams. My live streams end at 10 and then I do this.
Oh.
There you go.
Busy boy.
Yeah, that's it. Thursday night is 4 hours worth of streaming night on 2 different channels.
Kids to bed early. I'm streaming now, wife.
I don't want to say that's exactly what happened, but yeah, the wife definitely did put the kids to bed tonight.
Daddy's going to stand up all night playing video games. Now you got to go to bed.
It is weird. Like obviously, when you we're not. This isn't for the podcast anymore. The amount of people are like, oh, what is it you do for a job? And I'm a YouTuber. Like they instantly say, like one of the first things that if they've got kids, like, oh, my son wants to do what you do. I'm like, oh, really? And then when they like come up to my office and they go, oh, all the games and that, they're instantly bored within like 5 minutes because they're just not interested in the stuff we talk about on the channel. I mean, my age demographic is like 35, 40 up. You know, so kids ain't that interested because I mean, I'm not hating on Fallout. Not Fallout. What's it called? Fortnite. Yeah. I'm not hating on Fortnite. I reckon if I was a little teenager or a kid, I'd be well into it. It's just it ain't what I cover on my channel, and that's what every parent thinks that I do. So, yeah, like no. We talk about stuff from the 70s and 80s.
Oh, it's your boy Dan here.
That's it. I feel weird telling people to smash that like button.
Yes,
which I need tonight, guys. I've got 38 downvotes because of all the trolls.
Yeah.
Hey, I made sure to smash that like button, and I don't do that.
Like button.
I don't do that frequently at all.
Gently caress that like button.
Let me go to my favourite handheld of all time, the Atari like counter. Yeah, it works still. Have you seen my Atari like counter?
32. There we go.
It's a little bit.
Keep it coming, guys. Come on, keep it coming.
What's the Atari dislike counter done?
I can't move that over. I haven't got that on there, but yeah, it's there. I've got more down votes. We're nearly even. 38 ups, 32 ups and 38 down. Never mind, it's all good. Thank you all so much for hanging out tonight, guys. There'll be a clean version of this up on podcast services. At the moment, I think it's just Spotify, but within the coming weeks, it'll be up on other podcast services, Apple, that sort of jazz. So yeah, thanks for coming out, guys, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. That's how I normally end these things, isn't it?
You're going to cut out that 10-minute racist rant in the middle there. But...
Damn it, I've got to edit it a bit at the end now.
I fucking hate those Eskimos.
I'm definitely got to go now.
They
Bye, everyone.
got them. Gender rates. They got them.